Sometimes history and lessons in the newspaper, they give us warnings that something bad's coming, and I think something really bad is coming to Taiwan. For example, Enron, they didn't pay taxes. Everyone said this company's worth lots of money. Let's all buy this stuff. That was according to accepted accounting practices. They were making lots of money, but not according to their taxes. And if they're not paying taxes, they're not really making money, right? And that's what this is about. The Boeing 737 thing. As a software engineer myself, I write some software. My father was a mechanic. He taught me this every day. Everything breaks. It's just a question of time. Not if, but when. And we wear helmets not because of if, but because of when. And if you think that way, maybe it'll become an if that never happens. Look, software, engineering, airplanes, whatever, stuff needs to be replaced. Software doesn't always work. So you've got to be ready to replace stuff and change it. You've got to be ready to reboot the system. You've got to be able to do that stuff. If at any point a single Boeing engineer, whether it was the aerodynamics or the design of the plane for structure, or it was the software, or even the airline companies buying the planes, if one person had made one good decision about knowing everything breaks, everything needs to be replaced, those planes might not have crashed, but no one would. No one would. And so I'm looking at what's happening with Taiwan, and I'm seeing a long series of mistakes like this. My situation in Taiwan is such a little thing. Taiwan has a long history of just being mean to foreigners. You go to America, you have a job, you work 5 years, you can become an American citizen. In Taiwan, it's so difficult. It's nearly impossible. Taiwan's laws, you got to have this, you need to do that, and we require this. It's nearly impossible to actually make that happen in Taiwan. And they never care. They never look. And Congress, oh my goodness, this could involve Republicans. Congress isn't really looking at this, going after this like they should. This is another one of those things. It's, and I'm telling them, and I don't see it yet. They could change, but I don't see it yet. English. Taiwan requires everyone to learn English, but they make it so hard for a school to hire an English teacher. They say it's not, but if you look at the market, it's like, what school is actually capable of meeting that requirement? Not many. English. This is an interesting thing about the ESL world. They teach Taiwanese the American pronunciation, spelling, and phonics, like you watch on Sesame Street. But then later, in middle school, Taiwanese are required to use the phonetic alphabet to memorize the phonetic alphabet spelling of the British pronunciation after learning Sesame Street style American phonics for years. It's like, what? Yeah. And that's just ESL. Look at, Taiwan's got traffic problems. They don't teach people how to use stop signs, but they put up red lights where they don't need to be, and then they have police go hawk the intersections. And then typhoons and rain come through, hot tropical sun. The electronics in the traffic lights fry, and a lot of them go black and don't work. So it's like, where are your priorities, Taiwan? So many things. And if I have trouble as a foreigner in Taiwan because they've made it so difficult for foreigners. And then I turn around, Taiwan's president's all worried Trump's going to be angry militarily or whatever about the Taiwan's president endorsed Hillary. And I just made a couple phone calls with some people, and it turned everything around. She knows, okay, Trump's not going to attack us, and they're the best friends presidents have ever been. And that legally gives me a right to permanent residence in Taiwan. It wouldn't be necessary if they hadn't made it so difficult for foreigners, but even then they still won't grant it because they're off in their little la-la land world, not understanding life. And in my situation's just one little example. Congress knows about it. Taiwan's been told, and nobody's listening. I mean, I feel like we're in New Orleans here. The federal government gave New Orleans money to build their levees, but they wouldn't build them up. They had buses ready to evacuate people, but people wouldn't get on the buses and leave. Like, I'm looking at what's happening, and it's like, really bad things could be happening to Taiwan. I'm glad Taiwan's president's friends with Trump in America, but there's other stuff going on we got to pay attention to.